Hello, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So this week again, no reading raw, guys. It has been a very difficult week. I would say I did went and visit my parents over last weekend, and of course there's the illness in my family, which I talked about before, but it has gotten to the point where that said individual is in the hospital as we speak. It's in recovery mode, but the mood was just not right, and I just did not want to be vlogging every day when I'm still dealing with phone calls. I'm still dealing with decisions that had to be made. That was very, very traumatic, and so if you guys are praying people, pray for my family, because this is difficult. As much as we are, I think we expected it, so I think that's why we're not crying about it, but at the same time it is a bit heavy when you think of the fact that said individuals in pain. And so that's why I'm going to leave it at. I try not to talk too much about my family's woes on here, because this is supposed to be comfy cozy up, happy thoughts. So we also are in the midst of a journal mood, and when you guys see this video, I'm shooting this video Thursday, so this video comes out on Saturday. We would have been on day 9 at this point. Now, if you are just seeing this and you still you want to participate in a journal mode challenge, just jump in. It is a 30-day challenge, but if you miss a few days, that's fine. If you fell off, you fell off, that's fine. Also, jump back in. The goal is to do as much as you can, and don't put that pressure if you feel like you can't do 30 days, or if you miss a day that you can't get back into it. You can. Just be positive and just pick up the journal. Or if you are not a journaling person, but you have certain words that you saw, certain inspiration by words that you saw on the list that you want to try, do that. Just say, oh, I like this word of the day, I want to write about that. Do that as well. If you're on social media, try, follow me on Comfy Cozy Up on Instagram. If not, you can always tag me on other social media platform that you use, and also feel free to privately message me. Let me know that you are participating in this, and how you feel, and anything that you want to talk to me about. I am an open book. I love talking about journaling in such a healthy and emotional way that you can deal with, especially if you are experiencing difficult things. So let me know, guys. So in this video, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to touch on things that you guys asked me to touch on. But I'm also going to talk about books. So we are going to start with the books that I'm reading, as well as a book haul. So I did pick up some book. So I'm going to start with the what I'm currently reading, and that is a buddy reading I'm doing with Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading, and this is Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. And I'm a little further ahead of the plan of how we splitting this up, because it's actually good. But this is a story about a man who is he's telling his life story in essence in the story, and he's starting from a young age. So you're learning about his parents and the struggles that he experienced as a young child. What Dickens often do is he shows you in his classics. Well, at the time when he wrote it, I'm assuming that probably wasn't a bigger issue, but as in modern terms, you see how ill-treated some children were, as far as child labor, as far as cruelty in boarding schools and things like that. You are getting to this, as well as women who are in marriages that are basically for survival, not love, not any kind of caring or tenderness, but survival, and what that can cause if to people that's involved. That's what I'm going to leave it at, because it's a lot more things going on, but this is one of those books that when it comes to Dickens' chunky book, because this one is over 800 pages. that I like to actually I like to slow read it because of, you know, we'll see how many pages it is. 882 pages. So I like to slow read it because it's that kind of book that you cannot zip through. So far, I don't, the writing is not challenging in this one. It actually reads this edition I have reads really good. You guys know this is the 9th Dickens book. So, you know, I've read different era of his writing experience, and you know what year some of the books were written. You can tell the difference in how he writes. And some books are simpler writing, and then some books are a bit more challenging. This one so far I felt was like his average. It's not a difficult writing so far. There is a quote. What the hell? Procrastination. Is a killer of time. Procrastination is a killer of time. Yes, this was in here, which is a quote I've heard of, but I didn't realize that it was written in this. Yeah, procrastination is a killer of time. That's a quote. I was just like, when I read that part, I was very much like, oh, okay, all right, Dickens, you had some quotable moments in this already, you know. All right, so that's what we have. I also had gotten an ARC. This is The Island, Adriana Kincaid, and this is the author of The Chain. So you guys remember when I reviewed The Chains years ago, a couple of years ago, maybe what, 2-3 years ago? And I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys remember what I said. So I was a little bit surprised that the company that was working with the author reached out to me and asked me if I wanted an ARC of the latest book. And of course I wanted it because I enjoyed the last one. I mean, I had a little, you know, snotty comment I made. I will link it so y'all could watch my review for the Chain. I only read the intro as well as the first chapter just to get a feel of it, and it is creepy so far. So this is definitely a mystery, crime thriller kind of deal. But that's what he writes. But he always has family in his main characters are always a family. And this one you get that, you know, the father, the wife, and the 2 kids. You can see that on the cover. So I'm going to slow read this because it doesn't come out till May 17. And I rather read it closer to the release date, so when I review it, it's, you know, so I have time. But honestly, I'm it's one of those that is probably going to be read way before the due date. So what I probably will do if I read it, I will just do a review video on it and just don't release it until it's time. But that's the goal for this. I already finished one book this month, and that's Don't Cry For Me. And all I'm gonna say is I did a written review on it on my blog, so go check it out on the blog. But spoiler alert, it's a 5-star for me. I think this is one of those books that it is going to be a personal read. It's gonna be depends on who you are and how you feel about certain subject matter. You might love it or you might feel a certain way because this is a parent with a flawed parent. And when you have flawed parents, sometimes as a reader you struggle. I've seen people who struggle with Patsy because of the fact that she was such a flawed mother, and they couldn't give the book a good rating because of that understanding of they can't, you know, understand a mother doing certain things. This is one of those where it's like an apology written story from a dying father who is writing to his son of his history of him, history of his father, his grandfather, his mother, what he knows and what he's experienced, and potentially what may have caused him to do some of the things that he has done to his own son. So this is this is a pack of what you call family generational trauma. And I'm going to leave it at that because I really want you guys to read the review I did on this. But I know for me personally, it's that kind of letter for somebody who have had daddy issue, that you want that apology, you want that acknowledgement of wrong, and you want to feel the love that you were lacking. And you get this from this story, and it's just powerful, guys. It's a powerful story, and it's very short, but it ended in such a way that I was just moved, and yeah. So I'm gonna say about that. I'll probably talk more on the wrap up for the end of the month and go in more detail, but check out the review that I did. All right, so here goes. Oh, this was, of course, the haul starting. And then this is another one that I picked up when we were birds. And this one, I believe, is on the Women's Prize Award, but I already knew this was going to be something I was going to pick up because it was just everywhere. And it's also Caribbean. You know, I need some Caribbean author in my life, and I think she is Trinidad. Yes, Trinidad and Tobago. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to just pick this up because it's going to add on to my Caribbean, because I only read so far this year, I believe only 2 Caribbean authors. Yes, I think it's only 2 Caribbean authors that I've actually completed this year so far. So I need to read some more. So, which is why I went to, when I was in New York, I went to this independent bookstore, like Nellie Jackson, and I picked up, I wanted classic and I wanted Caribbean. When I went to the bookstore, because this bookstore is in City Point, so if you're in Brooklyn, that's where the bookstore is. I at first was just a little bit like, oh, it's in a mall kind of deal, because the city center is looks like a mall to me. And I was a little bit like weary, but when I went in there, the way they decorated that bookstore, it gives you old school bookstore appeal. So if you guys followed me on my Instagram, a lot of you guys were able to see, because I did take you in there. They had a huge stationery section. They had category. When you went upstairs, if you are into classic, you would love this place, because they had everything in different section. They had Caribbean section, of course. They had English, British writers. They had Russian literature. They had French. They had Italian. They had Spain. They had German. There were so many different sections that I was just like, I need to come back to this store and when I have time, because I really didn't have that much time because I was running around. Because that's a bookstore that you could spend a lot of time in and search, because they had a lot of goodies. And for somebody like me that's interested in so much more classic, I was so glad that they had it set up like that, where if I'm looking for a certain genre, I can go to that section. And so I was loving that. And the Caribbean section was pretty big as well, which means, you know, you're going to go back and see what else rare or books that's not popular that is there, because I want to read back this. So this is why this is all backlist old books. So I picked up 4 books. So let's start with the Caribbean stuff first. And I got Patricia Powell. Now you guys know I love a short story collection that I did, which is the book I featured this year on my display, where you guys will see that a lot of that book. Which this year, every year I display a Caribbean, preferably a Jamaican author book, and this year it is a short story collection, which is Kingston New York, and she is one of the person that contributed to that short story collection. And when I was doing a lookup for when I was doing the lookup for books I wanted to read last year for a Readathon, this is one of the authors I was looking to, and I was not able to find her book at the time. So when I went in, I saw this. I was just searching. I really wasn't digging. I was just looking, and then her name popped out, and I said, "What?" And she had this book, and this is one of the books I really wanted to get into. And you know, this is where you can tell an English publisher published this. In Patois, we don't say me. We say me. Me dying trials. That's what we say. So this should have been MI, but of course, I just know somebody was telling her, don't put that on the cover, put me. I was like, me dying no, sir. I was like, so yeah, it's if you are familiar with this, we say me dying trials, okay? So, and I'm going to get into this, so I'm not sure when this was actually published. I like their bookmark, guys. How cute is this? and then on the back it's like lined, so you can like, you know, put where you at with stuff. So I am going to see when this was published. This was originally published in 1993, so it is up there, and I love that I found it at this bookstore. I was like, yes. Then the other one that I got is from, of course, Jamaica Kincaid, which is Lucy. And I've also wanted to read this. I've seen it a lot, and I was like, you know, it's a coming of age story, and I want to read more book from this author. I've only read one so far, which is Annie something. I can't remember. But Annie John. There you go. Oh, why am I forgetting the name? And this one is short, so I'm thinking I might save this for readathon. But knowing me, I might in the mood and read it before that. I know for a fact this is going to be read before that. But we'll see. Then I decided, of course, I want some more classic. And I love this particular author. I've read 2 of her books. North and South, and Daughters and Wife, or Wives and Daughter. Yeah, I remember how I reviewed that one. So this is Elizabeth Gaskell. This is Sylvia's Lovers, and this is supposed to be the last finished book. So this is actually before Wives and Daughter, because that book, you guys know, the rude awakening at the end. Watch that vlog if you ever. my reaction when I realized what was happening. So this one I want to get into as well. I was hoping to get the Penguin version, but they didn't have it, and because, not for nothing, guys, as much as it's not that chunky, the font is tiny. So we'll see. And then, of course, it's National Poetry Month. And I have been collecting the greats. You know, I have McCain, Claude McCain. I have over here my Langston Hughes, full collection of my Langston Hughes, like the entire collection of all his poetry, which is a chunky beast, and I'm slowly going through it. I also have Edgar Allan Poe, and so these are all the classics. I've just been trying to collect classics. So of course, I saw this beast. Look how big this is. And this is a complete collection of Emily Dickinson. And I like her in terms of, I think her poetry are often dark. And it's a different feel. And so I want to get into more of her poetry and get into more of her thought process of some of what was going on. Because she's considered very... there's a lot of mystery about her, a lot of things that people didn't know about her, and she really did not get that heightened visibility until after her death. And and I believe she was in her 50s when she passed. So when I saw this, I was just like, yeah, and the price wasn't bad at all, because she had about 3 completed from different publisher, and this one I saw and I said, you know what, it's paperback, I'm fine with that. They did have a hard copy one, and I was just like, no. I like the flappy situation when it's chunky like this. But there's some of these I'm going to get into. I've started reading some of her poetry, and sometimes I might share a few with you guys. But yeah, so I was very excited about this. So this is all the books. So I'm going to put this out the way. And then let's get into journaling stuff. But before that, guys, I also picked up this baby here. Look at this tripod. This is where I can elevate some of my bookish pictures and take it outside when the weather gets nice and, spring started coming in. So this is so small, but, it gets nicer. And of course this it can get a little longer, but I'm working with it. And then of course it has the remote. Yeah, guys, when you don't have a photographer, you're gonna have to be creative in how you add to your social media platform. You you know. So yeah. All right. Let me set up for my dip pen. So I did not want to do all my pen in this video because this video is going to be super long if I do that. So let me just talk about the dip pen, what I like, good stuff, the bad stuff, and what I would recommend and versus what I wouldn't recommend. So I am going to set this up. So be right back. All right, so we're here. I am going to be talking about my dip pens. I own probably about 13 or 14 of dip pens, and some I love and others where I am still struggling with. So let's go with the ones that everybody always asks me for. Everybody wanted to know where I got this pen, and it's from Amazon, and this is the feather pen. Now this pen is just a beautiful pen. Let me raise this a little so you can see it better. This is a feather pen. It is, I mean, absolutely gorgeous. The nib on this writes amazing. So this disregard some of this ink on there because I haven't cleaned some of these pens in a while. I need to clean some of them. But the problem I have with this pen, that's why I have not talked much about it, is not going to last because you can see the body of the pen is stripping. And that is the only flaw. Had I known that this was going to happen, I would have painted. You know, sometimes you can do the hack of my nails. Sorry guys, I have all kinds of things on my nails. I was not prepared for this video, clearly. This is I would have painted it. Sometimes you can use certain gloss and polish and stuff to keep it, to preserve the body. That literally is the only flaw that I have with this, is the body is just not going to last. The nib, the writing nib, amazing. And when I said it glides on the paper, it glides on the paper. This is one of the best nibs that I have, and I love it. And it has this one is the ink here. So there's no real there's a little bit of dab of ink, but this is another reason where I need to clean this out. Now this is where I use it regular as a fountain pen, but this comes with all the other tools for the dip. So you have this, all these different sizes, and as well as this one. So you just have to remove this. You have this that you convert it to, and these where you use the dip. So the sizes are different, and it writes normal. But if you just want to use it as a fountain pen, which is what I usually normally use it at these days, because I have other dip pens that I'm loving right now. So yeah, I think this is a perfect gift for someone if you want to try them out, and it's inexpensive, because this was not expensive at all. The other one that I have is this one. This is another dip pen, and this is the dip pen that I struggle with the most, and I do mean struggle. So, I'll get this out the case. Sorry. All right, let's do it this way. I struggle with this the most because, don't know if I'm putting them back in the right spot, but they'll do for now. I struggle with this one the most because this is the kind of dip pen that, let me put one of these in here, that writes like this. You can see it. This takes me forever to write with, and I am still learning how to use this properly, but this is one of those classic dip pen that just I have not mastered. So, which is why you guys don't see me use this much, but I have it. So now I know. I will figure this out when I'm done to put it back in the right thing, so this video will be too long. Alright, the other feather pen is the newest one, which I did an unboxing on recently. Is the one that I am absolutely loving. So it is a set, and it comes with, in this box. So it comes in this box, and it comes with all these extra nibs. Can you see all this nibs? When I tell you, I've never seen anyone like this. This one just took me out when I saw this. I said, how the hell are you reusing this? So I haven't been able to use these yet because I figured out. And of course you have these. This is only dip pen. That's the only way you can use these. There's no barrel. There's no converter or barrel. And so it has the... Alright guys, so I got cut off. Wow. So anyway, like I was saying, I like that you can pop this in the container like this. It just works for me all the time, and I have it on display on my bookshelf. So this was a complete win. I highly recommend it because again, you get all of this. You get all of this, the ink and the stand in this gift box. And I think this is perfect for a gift for someone. And not only that, the nib is great. This is one of those, hell yeah, highly recommended for anyone who wants to try and not spend a lot of money. I do not believe in spending too much money when you're just beginner and you're just playing around with these fountain pen, because fountain pen prices can range from $10 to 10 grand. Yeah, they have those. And I feel like you should not invest so much money if you're just starting off with, you know, all these expensive pen and just to have it, or just to follow like a trend of people where people like a certain brand and they pushing that brand when that brand is kind of pricey for somebody who's starting off. Don't recommend it. I would never advocate for that. None of these pens I'm showing you is over $50. None of these. So yeah. Then I will go into my glass pen. So my first glass pen I ever got came in this beautiful box. Look at this box, guys. This box is just everything. And it came with an ink, which somewhere. And it came with this. And I love it because, you know, it has that stand that you can use to try and protect your pen tip. Because one of the things that I've learned about these pen is that these glass pen, they will break. And I have break one that I can no longer use, and I will show you in a minute. So this is another pen that I do not advocate buying the expensive glass pen, because when they chip, they're done. And there goes your money. Versus if you buy that inexpensive, and if it's chipped, you won't feel the worst. So this actually is still amazing, writes really good, and I love it. If you follow me on my Instagram, you will see, or even some of these videos, you'll see me using them so you can tell what they look like. But I think I have videos even on TikTok with this one, how it writes, so you can see that. Then we have these beauty. They come as a set, and it is gorgeous. So we have the pink one. Look at the flowers, guys. Woohoo! And look at this. Now this is the one that I broke. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see up close, I chipped the tip, so it scratches, and I am a little bit hurt by it, but it happened. And it's now, I don't know how to save it, if even anybody can saw it down to get it back, but it's a bust. The blue one, however, is still intact. I have no issues with this one. It is still beautiful. It writes really nice. And this is one of my favorite because it's just gorgeous. So this is a set. And then we have these bundles that I bought. I believe I am missing one. I think I gave one away. But these are the other glass pens, and I have different size. So this one, you have the regular long ones, and then you have the short one. Now the only differences with these is the fact that the long ones, of course, because there's different lengths. You can see this is a little longer than this. You get more ink, so you can write longer without having to dip back into the ink. That is the only difference in these in terms of the tip. The tip are all the same size. But the only issue, like I said, is when you write with these shorter ones, you have to dip a little bit more because it doesn't hold ink longer, because it's small and it doesn't hold a lot of ink. Whereas these hold more ink, so you write longer. I love the style of them, especially these. These are just like gorgeous to, you know, just to look at. And then of course these crystal looking ones, and this. I believe I have no idea what the other. I think I gave some away, but I think this set this came as a set, so there's so much you can get, and it's so inexpensive. So I will link all of these if you are interested in the description, and that is it. So if you are into journaling pens and stuff, this is it. I will do another video where I talk about the actual fountain pen collection that I have, and that's a bigger collection, and I will go into more of gadgets and all that in the next video. So yeah guys, this is a long one, but thanks for watching, and I will see you around.